Hello, welcome back to Wedding Wednesday. My name is Adriana, and today's episode, we are talking about love stories, proposal stories. I'm also gonna share a few tips on how to keep your engagement ring clean, because trust me, it's really hard to do that. And of course, I'm also gonna be sharing a few ways that you could be adding jewelry to your wedding dress. So a few wedding dress jewelry examples, as well as ways to style your wedding engagement ring. So with that, let's dive into our episode. Welcome to Wedding Wednesday, the podcast that's about to spill all the tea on what it's like to plan a wedding from the bride's perspective and all the details no one talks about. I'm creating the podcast I need to keep me sane and feeling less alone as I plan my own wedding. We're diving deep into the hilarious, messy, and sometimes crazy world of wedding planning and wedding horror stories. Get ready to laugh, cry, and maybe feel a little less alone in this wedding planning madness. All right, I wanted to talk to you about ways to keep your engagement ring clean in today's episode because when I did my engagement photo shoot a few weeks ago, I was like frantically looking up ways to clean my engagement ring before my photo shoot because I had realized that over time, it kind of was getting looking a little dull. And the reason why I was starting to look a little dull is because a lot of things were getting stuck in the crevices of my ring. So I after finding a few really interesting tips and testing them myself on how to clean my engagement ring, I thought it would be really valuable to share with you too. A lot of these ways are things that you can do at home, totally free, and that will just ensure that your ring stays sparkly all the time. So tip number one, honestly, is the way that you put on your engagement ring. I try and avoid and touch the diamond. I do have a solitaire, so this is probably harder for anybody who has diamonds all around the band. But for my solitaire, I only hold it on the sides of the band on each side of the diamond because I don't want to have a fingerprint on my diamond. And trust me, sometimes I do. So that's the first thing that I try and keep in mind when I'm trying to keep my ring clean on an everyday basis, is just not to put my finger straight on the diamond to avoid any of those fingerprints. The second thing that you can do is just use a nice mild detergent or little soap, like hand soap, just a really mild soap that you may have at home. You can soak your ring in some water with a little bit of that mild soap, whether it be dish soap or laundry soap, just something super mild. Think baby things that you would clean, soap that you would clean baby things with. You would put your ring in there, let it soak for an hour or two, and then you can take it out and use a soft bristle brush, something like a baby toothbrush, honestly, just to clean all around your ring to get it nice and sparkly again. I did this for my engagement shoot. I just actually put a little water on a soft bristle brush and really got into the crevices to ensure that everything that's stuck under the halo and the prongs was kind of getting cleaned out, because that is what hinders the shine of your ring ultimately. If there's something underneath the diamond, that's what makes it more cloudy. So that's what tip number 2 is, to use a nice soft bristle brush. Tip number 3, honestly, is to avoid wearing your ring all the time. I'm talking about wearing it to the gym, wearing it in the shower, wearing it to the pool, wearing it to the beach. Those are environments where it's really easy to dirty your ring, not to mention damage your ring. So keeping it in mind constantly to maybe not wear your ring in certain times of your week could also help keep it clean. So I personally never wear my ring to the gym or to the pool or to the beach. I never wear it on vacation. I keep it at home because if I'm on vacation, I don't know, first of all, I don't want to lose it. Second of all, I don't want to get it stolen, and third of all, I don't know where it's going to end up. If we end up going to the beach, or if it's a super cloudy, muddy day and then all of a sudden I'm dirtying my ring. So I try not to wear it out during those times in my week or my year, with travel and whatnot, because it really does help prevent getting it extra dirty. I also sometimes will take it off when I'm cooking. That's another spot where I find it gets really dirty. I mean, just picture getting in there if you're making a pie crust, or you're putting together a dough or something, your ring will get so dirty if you are using your fingers with your ring on in there. So just being mindful of taking it off when you're doing things that are more prone to dirtying is key here. The next tip is actually my favorite tip, and this only works on diamonds. I don't know about other gemstones, so do your research as well when you're taking a look at how to clean your ring, but I love to use steam. So the night before my engagement shoot, I actually took steam, like we have like a little steam thing to like steam the clothing. I turned it on and I just kind of like let the air come out of it, the hot air, and then I would put my ring at the edge of that steamer to get like the hot water to go all over my ring. And that compared with the soft bristle brush was what was able to get it really shiny and get all the like gunk off of the ring. And then I use like a microfiber cloth to kind of wipe around the ring to ensure that it stays nice and sparkly. So that's another easy tip for you to implement if you don't want to use soap and you're too afraid to use soap. Like a nice steam, like hot steam can help get anything removed. Just keep in mind, again, if you don't have a diamond as your gemstone, that this might not be applicable to your gemstone. So just do your research there. The last tip for you really is to actually bring it to a jeweler maybe every 6 months to get it cleaned professionally. Keep in mind, I would not bring your ring back to a jeweler that you don't know. I would only bring your ring to the jeweler where you purchased the ring from. They're the only ones that you can really trust 100% with ensuring that your diamond is back, or like your ring comes back completely intact and is completely yours. And often enough, because you purchased your ring from that jeweler, they'll very often do it complimentary, completely free to clean your ring, just as an extra courtesy service that they offer. My bonus tip here is not cleaning related, but it is losing related. So if, let's say, you're used to wearing your ring every day and now you want to make sure that it stays a bit more clean. So now you're thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to wear it to the gym. I'm not going to wear it in the shower. So I'm going to start taking it off. I have personally a system to ensure as much as possible that my chances of losing it are lower, right? So I'll tell you what my system is, and you can take this if this resonates with you. My system is that it's either one of two places at all times, my ring. It's either in its box or on my finger. There is absolutely no in between. Meaning, if I'm washing my hands in the bathroom, I am not taking off my ring and putting it on the sink. If I'm going to the gym and I happen to still be wearing my ring, I am not taking it off and putting it in the bag and then locking it in the locker. I will either go home, take it up, put it in its box, or I will put on gloves, or I don't know, I'll find some sort of system to ensure that my ring doesn't get damaged. So basically, if I'm sleeping right before I go to bed, I take it out, put it in its box, and then in the morning, I'm not putting it back on until after I've showered that day. So if I have a workout in the middle of the day and then I come home and take my shower, then that's at that point where I put it back on. I will not wake up and put it back on, take it off to go to the gym, come back, put it on, take it off to go in the shower, come back. I'm not like constantly doing that to ensure as much as possible I know where the ring is at all times. So to recap the little system that I use, it's either in one of two places. So even if I'm tempted to put it down for 1 second on a counter, I don't let myself do it. I just don't because I'm prone to losing things. So that's one of the ways I've been trying to help myself not lose things, the ring in particular. Is by making it an extreme mental note about how it's either in one of two places for me. If that resonates with you, take the system, try it at home, try it on your time, and let me know in the comments if it works for you or if the system absolutely does not work for you. And if you have a better system, I would love to hear in the comments below too. All right, I wanted to share some wedding jewelry pieces that you could wear with your wedding dress that would also match your engagement ring, just to start thinking about how you're going to accessorize your wedding dress. This is something that I've been thinking about because I found my dress, which is so exciting. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, how do I accessorize it in a way that doesn't take away from the dress, that enhances my dress, that makes me feel like me on my big day without being overpowering, right? So there's so many things to think about when accessorizing your wedding dress, especially with jewelry. So I thought I'd share a few options for you to start. We're going to break it down in 3 categories. So we've got the necklaces, the earrings, and the bracelets. And then we're going to actually be talking about wedding bands in a couple episodes from now. So just to keep an eye out for that too. In terms of dainty necklaces, I prefer a dainty necklace, okay? But let's say you had an extremely simple wedding dress, you could definitely go with a more bold statement piece for your necklace, because it would add something visually interesting to your neckline, and it would probably it would like emphasize or like enhance, if you will, your wedding dress too. So that you could do. But number one, I like to go dainty, especially if you have quite a busy dress, or your dress is like a statement piece. Going with something dainty is perfect to accessorize here, or even with going with no necklace at all. If you're thinking about dainty necklaces, you can go with the classic pendant pearl. I think they're beautiful, they're timeless, they're elegant, they're gonna really stand the test of time, and they go with pretty much any bridal outfit. So you could wear this pearl necklace not just on your wedding day, but for your bridal shower, and then you can also wear it after you get married to various events when you're wearing a nice statement piece. A nice dainty pearl necklace, it's always in style and will literally be gorgeous forever. So this is the first idea for you. It's just a simple pendant pearl necklace. The second one is a simple solitaire pendant necklace. What's great about this is that if you're wearing a solitaire ring, you have a solitaire diamond or gemstone necklace to pair with it. It really does complement your ring beautifully. It emphasizes your neckline as well. And again, it goes really well with a dress that you want to let the dress speak for itself. So this sort of necklace will absolutely not overpower your dress, but will just make everything like kind of tie together seamlessly. The next necklace is a little bit more of an oomph necklace. It's a little bit more a little less simple, if you will, and that is a trio diamond necklace, kind of almost like a trilogy ring vibe. So this is actually great to complement a trilogy ring, or amazing to complement even just a solitaire ring where you don't want to be so matchy, but you still want to have a gemstone like a diamond or a diamond on your neckline over here to complement your dress and your engagement ring. I love the 3 gemstone. I think it like sits perfectly right here at the neckline. I think you can also gauge the length to adapt to your décolleté depending on how it's done on your dress. And again, it will never take away from a statement dress. The last necklace that I really like is a nice pendant style necklace where you have 3 simple diamonds, but they're just in a pendant style. Again, this fits really nicely if you have like a plunge or more of a plunging neckline, because it like visually will take your eye from the top of your head all the way down. It'll kind of guide the eyes of the people looking at you on your wedding day, which is all of your guests, obviously, down in a beautiful, elegant way. So this was also a nice piece. None of the pieces I shared here are super big statement pieces, but they're all beautiful pieces that can be paired with the majority of dresses depending on how your neckline is done, obviously. But I think the key here with wedding jewelry in general is to complement everything and not overpower, right? You just want to like tie everything together. You don't want to make too big of a splash unless that's your personality. If you have a little bit of coin to spend, honestly, a nice tennis necklace, whereas the diamonds are like all around, that is gorgeous. Very, very nice, but super expensive. You could maybe rent. Some companies do rentals of these kinds of things, so you don't have to commit to the investment of it. But I do think a nice tennis necklace is also really, really nice and elegant. Let's move on to the dainty bracelets. So speaking of tennis necklaces, I love a tennis bracelet, and these you can get whether it be in diamond or in moissanite or any type of gemstone. You can even honestly get them for pretty inexpensive on Amazon. They're obviously not real diamonds, but in pictures, you typically can't really tell. But these are stunning, stunning bracelet pieces that you could add to your dress. So let's say you've already got a nice simple necklace, a tennis bracelet complements it beautifully. What's great also about a tennis bracelet is that there's no clasp that's visible typically. So if it's moving throughout the day, you'll never see in your pictures the clasp of it when you come back to look at your wedding pictures, which is definitely an advantage. The worst thing that you see is like when the back of the necklace or the back of the bracelet is like visible in your pictures. That's especially on your wedding day. You don't want any of those wardrobe malfunctions to happen. So with a tennis bracelet, typically you can avoid that completely. The next one, to complement the pearl dainty necklace that I mentioned, a nice pearl tennis style bracelet where it's pearls all around the bracelet also complements great. What's great about pearl is that you can pair it with diamonds pretty easily without needing to do like all pearl. So you could do pearl bracelet diamond necklace, you can do pearl necklace diamond bracelet, you can mix and match, or you can do pearl or diamond, up to you. You have to try things on. You can always go to a local jeweler, try things on, and then kind of like dictate what you like from there. But yeah, a nice pearl bracelet. This is also timeless, will last forever, and can go with a multitude of outfits well past your wedding date. The next bracelet that I really loved, by the way, all of these pieces are from Angara. None of these, this is not sponsored, but I do have a discount code for you, which I'll share at the end of this segment, where you can get 12% off all of these pieces. And they do beautiful custom handcrafted pieces that I really recommend. So if you're interested in any of the pieces I mentioned today, I will link it in the description box below for you to check out. But the next bracelet that I loved on their website was a bangle. I love a bangle because it adds a little bit of a statement piece without being overpowering. This bangle in particular is not overpowering. It's not like super thick. It's like a nice, it's almost a dainty, that's my favorite word for jewelry, dainty bangle. But it adds something visually interesting to your wrist without it being something that a lot of brides choose, which is either a tennis bracelet or something pearl. Nothing wrong with those. Obviously, they're gorgeous, but I'm just saying for the bride who wants something a little bit different, a bangle could be a good option. A nice silver bangle with a few diamonds on it. Really elegant. This is a showpiece too, so you could always pass this down to a daughter or a granddaughter or a niece one day if you'd like. The world is your oyster here with a bangle, but I do think that if you want something a little bit different from the classics, a nice bangle could definitely be the right thing for you. Moving on to the earrings. So with the earrings, I've noticed I'm gravitating towards a lot of pendant style earrings. Of course, you can always do a stud, or you could do a hoop, but a lot of people don't do hoops for their wedding day, and I don't know why. If you did a hoop on your wedding day, I want to hear from you in the comments. If you are like a wedding planner or a wedding outfit stylist, I guess you could call them, can you tell us why people don't choose hoops? I'm such a hoop girl that it would actually make so much sense for me to go with hoops. But for my own wedding day, I was considering pendants because that's what I've been seeing on Pinterest and across social media. So would love to hear from anybody who wore hoops on their wedding day. If it was yay, nay, beautiful, not, like if you recommend, things like that. But for today, I saw on their website, on Angara's website, some beautiful pendant earrings. The first one being a combination of pearl and diamonds, where it's diamonds on the pendant part, and then at the very bottom of the drop of the earring, it's a nice pearl. And this one happens to be gold, which would match my personal engagement ring, but you can always get it in silver, depending on what kind of jewelry you're looking for. I probably would steer clear from mixing metals on your wedding day. I think mixing metals is really fun on an everyday, but for the sake of wanting to enjoy looking at your pictures for decades to come, I think keeping everything the same metal is key here. But anyways, I digress. A beautiful pendant like this, it's not too long, which is great. So I don't think it'll like bother you. It won't swing around all day. It also won't spin around all day, which is great. And it's still timeless and elegant. And this is perfect for the bride who wants to wear diamonds on as a necklace, or who has like a nice diamond band to go with her engagement ring. Or the vice versa. If you want to wear pearls as your necklace, it still matches. So it gives the diamond pearl combination allows you to get away with wearing either pearls or necklace or diamonds as a necklace or for your engagement ring. So it kind of like ties all the jewelry together is what I've been trying to say here. So that's option one. Option two is a pearl pendant where it's just pearls. It goes down further, and I think would be beautiful for somebody whose hair is up because you'll really be able to see the nice pendant. My only hesitation here with this sort of earring is that it could swing so much and it can get caught in things. So this is one of those things where you'd have to try it out before you commit to it. But although stunning, it will make for really beautiful pictures and pairs beautifully as well with an updo, because it adds something here to contrast the updo of it all. Might not be the most practical earring to go for. So that's just something to keep in mind for you, but really gorgeous piece. The next earring that I thought was gorgeous was this blue sapphire pendant that has a pop of color. This is great for the bride who wants to steer a little bit away from the traditional whites, ivories, and wants something like a pop of color. Blue is still super bridal. I don't know why. I wonder who made blue bridal. If somebody knows the answer to that, let us know in the comments. But a nice pop of blue is gorgeous for your wedding day, and it could be your something blue, and it'll also add like a little bit of color and visual interest to around your hairstyle area without overpowering again. So a nice blue diamond, like sapphire diamond earring with sapphire, blue sapphire is the key. And this one happens to be a pear shaped diamond or sapphire. So if your engagement ring is a pear, it'll go perfect. It'll match so perfectly. So it's something to keep in mind if you want a pop of blue or just color in general on your wedding day without it being so much. The last pendant suggestion for you is a nice diamond pendant. These are timeless and classic. They're not cheap, obviously, but it's one of those pieces that you could invest in, you keep forever. Typically diamonds keep their value, give or take. I know now with lab grown diamonds, everything is up on its head in terms of the value of what diamonds retain once you buy them. But regardless, I do think it's a beautiful investment piece that you can keep in your collection, that you can wear with a multitude of outfits after your wedding. It would be a great piece to wear as a wedding guest. It would be a great piece to pass down to future generations too. And definitely will make a statement when it comes to like this area. If you're going with something more delicate in terms of necklace and bracelet, a nice pendant diamond earring could be a bit more of that pop that you're looking for to complete your look. Last but not least is a classic stud. I mean, there's something to be said about a nice stud, especially if your hair is down. You might actually want a stud so you don't have an earring kind of like getting stuck in your hair. This is perfect for somebody who's doing completely down, like not even half up, half down, but just completely down where your ears are not even showing. A nice, beautiful stud could be the way to go for you. And that can range from a variety of different types of colors, gemstones, pearls, whatever you choose. What's also great about studs is that if you have somebody who's older than you in your family who has like a nice statement stud, you know, whether it be a diamond stud that they invested in for themselves or a pearl stud, that could be your something borrowed from them, where you could wear nice, beautiful studs on your wedding day. It'll complement and it'll be sentimental all at the same time. So that's last piece for you. If you liked any of the pieces talked about in today's video, you can check out Angara. I will put their link in the description box below. You can get 12% off for limited time with the code Wedding Wednesday as well. So snatch that up if you see anything on their website that interests you too. All right, I asked our listeners to send us their proposal stories to share with you on the pod today. Let me read you the first one. It is Emily and Aaron's story. Here it goes. It was a beautiful sunny day on April 12th in Mount Angel, Oregon, a place that holds such a special meaning for us. We've spent many moments together at Mount Angel Abbey, praying and reflecting, so it was the perfect place for something unforgettable. Aaron proposed to me at the Abbey. I'd like to say I saw it coming, but the truth is I didn't. The weekend before, I kept getting dressed and changing outfits, convinced that it was going to be that day. When the moment finally came, Aaron began by asking me to pray with him. Then he shared how much I meant to him, how he believed I'd be a wonderful mom, how I was everything he had prayed for, and that I was the person he wanted by his side forever. I could tell he was nervous, we both were, but his words were so sincere and full of love. When he proposed, I was over the moon. The joy and excitement I felt were indescribable. My mom still says she's never seen anyone more excited to be engaged. A little place where it all happened, Mount Angel Abbey is home to a Benedict community of monks dedicated to prayer, service, and spiritual life. It's a peaceful and beautiful place, full of meaning and grace. After the proposal, we celebrated at a local brewery with our friends and family. There was cake, delicious food, balloons, bubbles, champagne, and decorations everywhere. It was truly magical. I think it's always better when the person getting proposed to is actually surprised, because it makes the whole thing just so much more authentic. Your reaction's so much more authentic. This is a beautiful story. I love a good proposal story. And so thank you so much, Emily and Aaron, for sharing your story with us on Wedding Wednesday. We have another story. The second one goes, we know when the time was right. We had known each other and were best friends all through middle and high school. Confessed our feelings 13 years after we met. We were long distance and we immediately started talking about what we wanted for our futures. We discussed proposals and that we'd know when the time was right. 2 months later, he was visiting me. I had to work, so he was alone at my apartment. Little did we know, we were both planning to propose to the other on the same day. I'd snagged one of his rings while he was in the shower, and the next day he woke up to a scavenger hunt around my apartment. The final clue leading him to the ring and asking him to marry me. He'd been texting me his progress the whole time, but stopped texting me once he found it. I thought I'd scare him off and went home sure he'd panic and gone home early. Instead, I walk in to find him down on one knee waiting for me. That's when he said, "Yes, I'll marry you. Now I need to ask, will you marry me?" Later that night, we laughed that we were so in sync, we literally planned proposals for the exact same day. That is so sweet that they both asked each other to marry each other on the same day. Isn't that crazy? That's when you know that a couple is really meant to be together and so in sync, when they feel each other's timeline so precisely that they actually end up proposing to each other on the same day. What a beautiful story. Story number 3. I got proposed to with my head cropped out of the video. Hi, Wedding Wednesday. I've been an avid listener since day one, and after hearing all the magical and chaotic stories you've featured, I knew I had to share mine too. First of all, thank you for listening. So I never thought he was the marrying type. I had fully accepted that a ring might never come, and I was weirdly at peace with it. That's how much I love him. But then, one day he tells me, "We're going on a trip. Pack your passport." Naturally, I'm thinking international, exotic, mysterious. We ended up 154 kilometers away by car and ferry. So yeah, I was low-key annoyed. But anyway, we arrive at this exclusive island resort. We checked in, had lunch, toured the place, and just before sunset, he takes me to this completely empty white sand beach. Golden hour. Literally no one else around. It felt like the universe cleared the whole scene just for us. Then he tells me to sit down, gives me his phone and headphones, and says, "Just watch." It's a video montage of our 4 years together. Clips, laughs, random selfies, inside jokes, and he's narrating the whole thing, telling our love story in his voice. Over music that was basically designed to make me cry. And yeah, I cried. By the end of it, he takes my hand, gets on one knee, and proposes. And then comes the part that makes this whole story so us. We're vloggers. So of course, he set up a camera to record the moment, which I never suspected because it's the usual for us. He framed it while we were sitting. I stood up and I'm 5'9", so my entire head is cropped out, like literally decapitated. He was crushed. But honestly, I think it's kind of perfect because only he got to see my real reaction. The ugly cry, the laugh, the yes before he even finished asking. And then I found out he had already got the blessings from both our families. He'd been secretly figuring out my ring size for months. And the ring, he had it custom made. One of a kind, rose gold, moissanite, and moonstone. Because he knows I'm not a fan of diamonds, it was delicate, thoughtful, and completely me. No audience, no flash mob, no big reveal, just us, the beach, the moment. I didn't hesitate. I didn't question. I said yes, not once, but 1,000 times over. And I do it all again, even with the cropped head footage. P.S. He really got me with that passport trick. I was ready to get stamped, fully bamboozled. Good thing he came with a ring. That's beautiful. I love this. I love a good story that is sentimental to the couple and so personal to the couple. It doesn't have to be this whole big fat proposal, but when you have like parts of your relationship within your proposal story, and your significant other makes the effort to think about how you both fit perfectly within that moment, I think that's what makes a proposal so beautiful and special. If you have a gorgeous proposal story that you would like us to read on the pod, feel free to email it at hello@weddingwednesdaypod.com. If you have any horror stories as well, we will take them. Of course, please rate, review, subscribe, do all the things, because it really does help our podcast grow. And we're trying to get to 10,000 downloads a month. So any support you are happy to give us, we are happy to receive as well. With that, thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.